Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're still on the POLITY, reaching you live from the nation's capital, and I am Babajide. Joining us now is Dr. Suleiman. He's not a new face on the program. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
How are you? Compliments of the season.
Same to you. Well, Christmas.
Christmas was great. Thank you very much for asking. Yeah, let's run a quick one. Let's before we get into today's topic proper. About 145 persons have said they've. Okay, let's take it from Daily Trust newspaper. 145 killed as bandits attack 23 plateau villages. Some papers are saying over 40 persons, but then it looks like this is a daily occurrence, or let's say a yearly occurrence for Christmas seasons in Plateau State. I'd like to get your overview on this particular issue.
It's very painful and heartbreaking that such things is happening in a season period like this, where family are supposed to be rejoicing with their friends, associates, and colleagues. Particularly, people from the city will travel down home to the village to see the loved ones and associate with the grassroots friends, since from childhood. If this is happening, I think, to me, it's a kind of negligence from the government, because in Plateau State is a flash area, it's a flash state. So this is not the first time that such thing is happening. When we are approaching year-two seasons like this, is that the government is expected to put security measures on place. That is number one. You are expecting to have, look, people are coming, and it could be an internal arrangement, it could be an external conspiracy against the government of the state, because people that are not in the state now, the mastermind of such serial action want them to feel what they are feeling. So inside, within the state community, some people can, organize such things to harm those that are coming to look. You have to feel what we have been feeling. You people have run away, and today you are coming back. Okay, fair, fine. It's not going to be easy for all of us. Let's also feel what we have been feeling. They organize from inside or from outside. So if it's like that, then the outsiders that used to arrange these things will also arrange from outside to tell them that, look, it's not going to be easy as you thought it is going to be. Understand now? We are coming again to hurt you. So on these premises, I'm saying that, look, since we are coming towards end of the season like this, so the government will have put all machinery that security-wise on place to checkmate the excesses of this bandit, of this gunmen, so that at least people should be held accountable for if something happen. Because you see, you don't toy with people's life, and this is a period that, look, the government is supposed to up and doing, because in one way or the other you have to avoid crisis. We have social crisis. We have even a conflict among friends and associates that can come. We have conflict that used to come up between cultists. So in this period of the year, when it comes to these seasons, I believe the Civil Defense Corps, that is Social Defense Corps, should be on their toes to look at activities ground, playground, museums, zoos. All they should be there, and major entrance to the state should be manned by some military men and the police. If they could have a joint task force. So these things have been happening in Abuja. So I don't know why they are not copying from the security, measures put in place in FCT, that particularly state that share borders with FCT should have also learned from FCT what they are doing here in FCT, because it's not easy. You can't continue to count death of role of people in the state, and we are talking of manpower. You see, the problem is not that when we say we are overpopulated, we are not overpopulated to reduce our population by crisis. No. We should look at it. We don't have natural disaster. We are not having volcanoes. We have earthquake. But individuals will take law and arms and and ammunition against fellow citizens. It's very, very bad. So I don't think in this era we should be experiencing this, particularly when it comes to seasons like that. The government should be up and doing, both the federal and the government state, because I expect that, look, issue like when we are coming approaching seasons like this from the federal authority, that, look, we have to put all the commissioner of police on their toes on that particularly flashy state like Zamfara State, Plateau State, and Katsina State, and even you see some states that are not even flashy, but you understand that, look, they could be experienced, which is like Benue State. You have to inform the commissioner of police, look, let them take strategic measure against those that will rise against the peace of the state, because the order should come from above, not just allow the government, and the governor is at the chief security of the state will take but if has been carried away, but you from the police headquarters, from the military headquarters, should at least tell them, or the director of security should give instruction down to the state, down to the local government. This is what we want our men to be doing. And in the case of unforeseen attack, this is what you should allow us to know, that we should have a kind of counter-reaction, offensive against them. So I think it's very, very bad, and we shouldn't expect it in seasons like this. So we still have some kind of security challenges that are really alarming in the state.
But don't you think if the federal government actually wanted to do something, they would have? Because it looks like we're cherry-picking the problems that we want to solve. Because in the case of Ondo State and Aiyedatiwa, we saw how long it took the federal government to intervene almost immediately. And now we moved to River State. They even had to call for them to come to the Aso Rock to fix it. Now we're talking about lives and properties, which is supposedly the first thing the government is supposed to do. As of yesterday, this morning, I beg your pardon, the governor of Jos, that's Plateau, actually came out to state that even as of yesterday, 10 p.m., there were still killings going on in some of these villages. So it looks like it's something that has gone way out of hand for the state government. Shouldn't the federal government be able to do something or curb it? And do they have to wait till all of this happens before something is being done?
You see, that's why I always mention when it comes to security matters, we have what we call proactive measures. If the security, architect of this nation and agencies, modern agencies should put all their proactive measures on place, particularly when we are approaching seasons like this for the end of the year. We have Christmas online, we have festivities coming up from traditionally or culturally, and we have also the end of the year where people are traveling from one. All the military and the paramilitary should be updoing, because this is their time. This is when the civilians really need their attention. This is when we need the services of these guys, because even in the high road, you suppose every 100 kilometers you should have a checking point whereby people are being checked. Then how could, if we have all this on ground, both I think issue a period like this, even the corrective prison warders, the immigration should be deployed to help the road safety, to help the civil defense corps. Let them put this in order, because it should not, because we have shortage of manpower when it comes to the police sector, even the military sector. We have overstretched.
If you're even talking about shortage of manpower, I'd like to call your attention to something that was on every paper this morning. That said the Minister of Defense had to chip in 1 or 2 words before they actually paid their salaries. And as we speak right now, some civil servants that they've not received their December salary, and today is 26th of December. So how do you even say you want to push these people forward when the Minister of Defense had to chip in words for people that actually work? These are people that are on the battle line fighting for lives and properties of Nigerians.
You see, this is why if we continue to complain about that our system is not working, some agencies are supposed to collect their money since on 25. Or before 25, particularly when we have Christmas on 25. Exactly. This festive period, we are talking people are going traveling. So all their allowances should be paid on or before the 20th of December. So if you have any extraordinary activities or services you want to render, you give them incentive, and this incentive should be paid upfront to motivate them to look. You are going out there to save life and property of Nigerian civilians, so citizens. So what is there, and that is what we are fighting for. So what we are saying here, look, we still have problem with our system. I believe this is a litmus test, the first end of the year season that Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been on board. So all these things, we will say, look, we should have a practical experience before a measure should be put in place. Okay. But the right thing is that, look, we should be proactive. You should have the expected and unexpected. So we should have long-term and short-term, plans against every security measure threat in your state, not just within the country, within the state, and even down to the grassroots, the local government. Most people are traveling not to the state capital, but to their various local governments. This is what we are saying, and we discussed this issue of transportation also. That the palliative measures they give, people are still crying about the outrageous fee they are paying from one location to the other. So it's not really easy. I think. Look, something is wrong. Mr. President have a lot of tasks before him, and he should rise up to the expectation of Nigeria, because now, I am telling you, most Nigeria sees him before the election that, look, he has what it takes to fix most of our problems for us. So, and we are approaching the end of what? of the the end of this third quarter of his administration, because this we're entering this is the 7th month. So we're talking about the 8th month, 9th month. Before you know, we are talking about a year gone. So actually, I see that Nigerians are being patient. As you know, Nigerians were always very patient, loyal to our leaders, and that is what we are experiencing today in Nigeria. And I think that our leaders should not abuse it. Let's try to have an accord between the citizens and the government that, look, it is pari passu, it is two-way traffic. As the citizens are respecting the rules and laws of the government, let the government also know that, look, we have a task ahead of us, that we have to respect the feelings of the
when we're talking about government, I'd like us to relate it to start with the state government, because of course those are the people that are actually closer to the rural areas, and most of these are places that actually need help. And I would like to start with governors versus their predecessors, or let's start with governors versus their deputies. For Edo State, we had the clash where the governor and his deputy were clashing because there was supposed news that the deputy governor wanted to contest for the governorship seat. And now we moved to Ondo State, where it got to a point where even the president himself had to come in to, of course, settle disputes happening between the deputy governor and the governor, which was, of course, the state was on autopilot at some point. That's for Ondo State. And now let's take it to Rivers State, where we had issue between the predecessor and, of course, the sitting governor. That's Wike. Even though Wike has come out to say, oh, he never mentioned anything, or he never asked that the president should say something. But then the president, of course, has come out to say, oh, this matter is something. Of course, we know how much revenue Rivers State would generate for the country at large. That shouldn't curb it. And I'd like to take it from the angle of predecessors and the sitting governors. And now let's move that to Kogi State. Yaya Bello wanted someone to win. Of course, the person has won the election. Are we looking at something better for Kogi State people, or at the end of the day, are we looking at having the same recycling of issues and loyalty, or we're looking at a government that would have the interest of people at heart?
Mercy, this is a very critical question before me. Relationship between governors and their predecessors sometimes actually turn out to be something different. It should be a game between cat and rat, where most of the time the predecessors want to tell the successors that, look, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. And the successors will tell you, no. You understand now? This is our arrangement. This is my time. You should allow me to do it the way I felt that, look, it should be done. So here it comes in to what? Conflict of interest, conflict of ideology, conflict of what? Followership, conflict of leadership. Because the handing over of a leadership baton from one administration to the other that have to do with the case of godfatherism or mentorship has been a serious crisis in Africa. This is what is happening today in Kano State, that is really affecting the development of that state. Because the power tussle, leadership tussle between Kwankwaso and Ganduje has gone beyond politics level. And let me tell you, if that crisis in that state is not managed well, it will really put that state on fire. God forbid. Coming to Kogi State, I understudy the passing of Yaya Bello, His Excellency Adoda Bello, that he is a person that if he moves 2 steps forward, he stopped and look at the situation, read it with all visibility studies to understand, to move forward, right, left, or backward. So, this issue before the nomination or the taking of the internship form, he have mobilized more than 13 people, if up to 15, to go for the governorship aspiration of Kogi State. And he ended up backing one person. he, within that period of nomination and the period of the primary election, he have understudied the entire number of those that obtained that form within his party and from his own constituency. He have seen them that look from A to Z. He read their profile, he read their psychology, political ambition, he read their leadership traits, and his affiliation with them as his principal officer, I understand now, their strength and weakness. And he settled for the path who have believed that one will take that he's the least among them, which is Ahmed Usman Ododo. And after picking Ahmed Usman Ododo, within this period, from then the election up till now, I think what I have seen, the relationship between His Excellency Yahya Bello and Usman Ahmed Ododo has been a cordial relationship between a mentor that is trying to mentorship his own subordinate. That look, I have somebody that I can really trust. And the role and the way Ahmed Usman Ododo is following him, the governor-elect, show that look, he is really an apprentice that really want to work under, want to learn under His Excellency Yahya Bello. And let me tell you, you see, the relationship in the state between these two people was not just mastermind because of the political ideology they shared together, but Yahya Bello believed that look, Usman Ahmed Ododo have actually keyed into his word, his political belief individually as a leader in Kogi State, because he really have the mind, the heart, the people, he really have the people at heart, and he have shown it. Look, by every kobo and dime he got through his government, through his office, as measure as his salary or allowances, he spent it within the grassroots of his own constituency where he come from. That is number one. The relationship between Ododo and his colleague, the principal officers, is quite different from others. And let me tell you, before a leadership person like Yahya Bello should have picked Usman Ododo, he have understood it, because every principal office want to have a kind of partner relationship with the superior, with their superior officer, like the governor, his executive governor. So he will always look at what information are you bringing to me. Are you a sycophant? Are you trying to kind of tell me what to do so that you make me happy? And a lot of things have been there. There are people that will bring Christmas gift because they are looking for one thing or the other. There are those that will bring Christmas gift because they believe that, look, you are my boss. But those that will believe that, look, I need to learn from you because I need your blessing. So Ododo is of the last class I've mentioned. He need to learn, he wants his blessing, and he have gotten his blessing. Let me tell you.
Sorry to badger now. You said he has learned his lessons. So don't you think the governor should step back at this point and actually allow him rule after the inauguration? Because in most cases we see where, after they've inaugurated, the governors, the predecessors, of course, still want to rule. And in most cases, all of these are for selfish interest, not for the betterment of the people. And then there's been rumors around that, in this case, it's going to be the governor of Kogi State that would be, that's the sitting governor right now, that is Governor Yahya Bello, that would be the one imposing his will on all of these people. So I just want us to shed more light and clarify all of this in one breath.
You see, let me tell you, His Excellency Adolo mentioned it publicly. He said, look, Ahmed Usman Ododo, after the election, it's just like a kind of a valedictory meeting and message. He said he brought all the principal officers together, down from the local government to the state level. He brought them together, even to the national level. He said, look, he told him his word, his heart, that as I am going with every one of them. And I'm not advising you to engage any of them. If you dare do that mistake, please don't call me. You should bear the cross by yourself. He is telling him that, look, every Jesus Christ bear his own cross. So look, I have seen enough of these people. I work with them for 8 years. As I'm going with them. So I'm leaving the stage for you to take over and have your own Bible and your cross. If you make mistake, it is from your own holy book, not me, Yahya Bello Adora. So now, as I'm talking to you, Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo have the ground for him. as what? As the executive governor-elect for Kogi State. Come January 27, will be sworn in, and I'm telling you, Yahya Bello is doing everything possible. The legacy is living. He's putting Alhaji Usman Ododo, following him pace to pace. Like when he was signing the budget into law, the 2024 budget, His Excellency Governor-elect was by his side, standing. He saw where he signed. But in a normal scenario, you tell, look, do I need to see where he's signing? I will know when it is my, I know where to sign. But he was there with him, trying, the governor was analyzing the budget, and he was there listening to him. You see, in every step of his breathing, Ahmed Usman Ododo is learning on the process, so that, look, wherever they will have disparity, I will tell you, this is what I have taken from him. This is what I understand. This is where I'm making in my own input. So if there is any miscalculation, I think we know who to fault or who not to fault. So this is the demarcation between the two of them. Yeah, Bello, outgoing governor, have showed him the road. And look, this is my limitation. As I'm going, I have told you I'm going with all my appointees. The stage is left over to you to know who to come in with. You understand now? So at least that is to tell you that the dice have been casted, because now he is giving Ahmed a free hand to run the government. He said, look, I'm not involved. But what I want to do that, look, I have made a transition from APC to APC governor. APC remain, Kogi State remain an APC state. So this is one of our Yahya Bello achievements. And as far as it's concerned, this is the first time that from the North Central, we are having a political democratic transition from a governor from the Central to another person from the Central. So good and fine. He has laid a very solid legacy and a very good mentoring step for Usman Ahmed Ododo. So I don't believe they should have any other crisis. And you look at it. You look at the margin between the two of them in terms of age-wise and the political experience. So now, as an essay to His Excellency Abdullahi Bello on local government, he's a Auditor General of a local government fund. That is Ahmed Usman Ododo, and a chairman of one of the security committee to His Excellency Abdullahi Bello. So in these two aspects, managing of what? Of local government resources, the state resources, and as the chairman of security committee on the state, I think these are the very sensitive issues in state, security and fund, managing of funds. So I believe we have learned enough, and all through the process, he has been given the political understanding and tutoring from kindergarten to primary to secondary to the university, and now he is graduating to hold the state. They are the state at at large. So we'll say, look, he is highly welcome, and let's see how is he going to start from day one.
In everything you said, sorry to badger in now, in everything you've coined out now, isn't that a breathing space for political godfatherism?
You see, thank you for coming in with this issue of political godfatherism. You see, most of our political leaders, particularly in the state, when they hand over, they seem to go back to sit down within the state and try to dictate to the sitting governor. Okay. Because they believe, look, I made him, I put him there, he must take all I said. That is not the case. That would not be the case of Yahya Bello, because I'm seeing in a new political leadership and quality in His Excellency Yahya Bello. Sentiment apart, let me tell you, in the whole of Kogi State, there is no any individual that have contested for presidential seat within the ruling party from that state, except Yahya Bello. And talking of a sitting governor for that matter, he didn't feel like, look, I'm contesting with the caliber of individual like President Ahmed Tinubu, the president. I'm contesting with Amechi. You understand that I have been a governor of Rivers and a minister of transport. Then I'm contesting with the like of Ahmad Lawal, the Senate president. If you look at all this class of people, he was contesting also against the vice president, Yemi Osibanjo, and he came fifth. For the first time. That is to tell you, Yahya Bello have a political ambition outside Kogi State. And let me tell you, it is this issue will bring us to the issue of politics, leadership, and democratic transition in the North. Since the beginning of the fifth democracy, two regions from the North have dominated the Northern Hemisphere politically. That is the Northwest and the Northeast. Let me tell you, when Obasanjo was there, the Vice President then was Atiku Abubakar from Northeast. Come to Musayar Adwa from Northwest. When it was the term of Ebele Jonathan as the president, we have Nambadi Sambu from Northwest. When Buhari came, we have him from Northwest. Now we have Ahmed Tinubu on board with Kashim from Northeast. So if you look at the whole scenario, since for the past 22 years, the whole major political activities have been within the Northwest and Northeast. It was only during the time of if I don't during the time of Obasanjo, the time of this guy, Jonathan, we have David Mark as the number 3 citizen of this country from North Central. So now the question, look, we need to balance the equation. The issue of power balancing in the North have to come to the fore today. Let me tell you what is happening to the North Central. Are we not entitled to what? To presidential seat slot in North Central? Are we not entitled to the vice president slot in the North? So now I'm making a case here. It is a new beginning and a new down in the politics of the northern Nigerians. Let them understand that, look, North Central have as stakeholders, and we have a voice, and we have an active role to play as president and vice president in this country. So in the next dispensation, whenever the turn is now for the North, I'm assuring you that, look, Yaya Bello is coming as a presidential candidate. Okay, well, let's not talk about that, because that's going to open a lot of cans of worms. But then, still speaking on on Kogi State, it looks like a lot is going on with appointment of the traditional leader, because we have limited time right now. And so I'd like you to take these 2 questions in one breath. First is, we know that there's the antecedent of governors never wanting to leave power. From being a governor, they want to head over to Senate, and then from Senate to being president. Now, you've actually said it that it looks like Governor Yaya Bello is going to, of course, vie for the position of the presidency seat, of course, which is not so wrong. But then, is there going to be ever one time where we'll see a governor in Nigeria say, oh, this is it, I've done this? And given his antecedent with Kogi State, would you say is even up to that task? That's one. Now let's talk about you of Ibero land. I don't think traditional rulers and picking them should be something that should be all for a political drama and all of that. But then take these 2 questions in one breath. What is happening as with the case of the traditional ruler in Kogi State? Let me tell you, within the North Central, that's why I'm telling you that the politics of His Excellency Yaya Bello have cut across the issue of Kogi State. It's just for him to start, and we will mastermind the starting of North Central Consultative Forum that will bring all stakeholders, religion, tradition, institution, and political institution. Thank God the like of IBB is still alive. Abdullahi is still alive. We have patriotic citizens from the North, so like Sanusi, and Erufai is still. Erufai make a statement when Tinubu was contesting for this. He said, "Look, I have to make a case for the Northern that if Sardauna would have been alive, Sardauna will approve power shift to the south." So now, if Sardauna will also be allowed, I would like Erufai to also mention this statement. Look, if Sardauna will have been alive, Sardauna will have, look, it is time for the North Central, you understand now, to have what? To be the next president of this country, and particularly from that axis, from Kogi Central. Because look, let me tell you, the first Secretary General of the Federation was Abdullahi, first Secretary of the Federation, and the chief of head of the service of the Federation, Abdullahi. Then the first ambassador to France and England and London and Paris, that is UK and France, was Abdullahi. One of those that formed the NPC was Raji Abdullah in 1956. And let me tell you, apart from this, looking at the administration government, the administration of Babajide that took about 8 years. The engine room was from Kogi Central. The IG was from Kogi Central, Ibrahim Atta, and Chief of Army Salu Ibrahim was from this axis. And let me tell you, most of our traditional institution rulers held the Northern Traditional Council, either by being the chairman or by being the secretary. The late Omolori that Abraham Aldo took the throne from was the secretary of the entire Northern Traditional Council. And let me tell you, coming to what is happening today in our traditional institution is one and for all. We have at the Yahya Bello Adoda that we were also looking for, because we have 3 or 4 schools of thought here. So school of thought believe that, look, we should continue with the arrangement of the 5 traditional royal seat. Okay. That is from Eka, Adavi, Ihima, Egani, and Okemwe. Then some people say, no, what we need to do now, look, we should shift it from that. We have 2 families that have ruled nation for within the 19th century. That is the Atta family and the Omolori family. Why not they should be rotating within these 2 families where the former clerk Ataba came from, that it should be within these 2 families. We still have another school of thought that, look, what we should look at is that, look, we should make it an institution that only one family, the Atta family that has started it, let them be that, because the institution started from 1917, where the Ibrahim Atta, the father of this late Abrahman Atta, Abrahman Adogu, was the king before his abdication. Let me also tell you the fact, one history that our people don't know. Abdullahi Bello is holding the 2nd position in Kogis in Ibera land that nobody have held it before. It happened, the same thing that happened today in 1954. Okay. After the abdication of His Royal Majesty late Ibrahim Atta, may his soul be rest in peace. Then the chief imam, then the religious leader of that area, becomes what? The religious leader and the traditional ruler. He held that office until in 1956, when Omolori was appointed as the Ohino of Ibra land. That is at this moment again, the 2nd person who have held that position is now Yahya Bello. Is the governor and is acting now as the Ohino of Ibra, because all correspondence that have to do with that street goes back to Yahya Bello, because he's the governor. Through the commissioner of local government and chieftain affairs. When you collect all the forms are done through him, then he report back to His Excellency. So Excellency today is holding these 2 positions as far as North Central is concerned. So the issue will be resolved, I believe, that within this with this 4 school of thought, the 3 school of thought. The 4th one is that, look, my belief that, look, let's look at it. Can we all the traditional institutions in Ibra land come together? Say, look, we want to have a modern system of what? Of enrolling a new king whenever we lost the serving one.
And what does that modern system entail?
You should have a particular system whereby you have a ruling class, a ruling family, or a ruling tradition that, look, this is how we do it, and it should be institutionalized and gazetted. It should be gazetted that, look, everybody should assign and agree by it, so that all this crisis should not be coming in maybe after every 2 decades or 3 decades. We should come back and start doing the same thing.
But isn't that pushing aside tradition and shoving politics into most tradition? Yes.
You see, let me tell you, the issue of politics today has been synonymous with
because sorry to barge in, you can't probably politicize everything. The main reason why we even have politicians right now was because in a certain republic the role of the traditional rulers was watered down, and that's why you still find out that these people are still the people that are closer to the people that actually vote at the end of the day. And you find out that in most cases when people are vying for certain positions, they still move towards the traditional leaders because they are supposedly close to the people. But in the case where a sitting governor now has power over traditional rulers, then how do you have access to the people? Because even now the people would feel like, oh, the traditional rulers actually take they take words from the ruling whatever ruling party or the governor or the presidency or whatever it is.
Let me tell you, before the coming of the 5th republic, the traditional institutions have been independent of themselves. Even during the military administration, let me tell you, most of those clusters of activism that fought the military administration from north to west to east of the south of this country, most of them are being breathed by the traditional institutions. That, look, we are tired of these guys. We want to make our impact, felt, and we want to see our people actively involved in democracy, in the democratic process. And let me tell you, because during that period, you see most of these ethnic groups are fighting the military administrators then. And if the tradition didn't support these people, they would have make effect to change the tone of what? From the military administration toward democratic system. So now that we have achieved it, they have also made themselves irrelevant by coming down to dine and wine with the politicians. They made the politicians. They're supposed to be their fathers, where the politician will run to and seek for advice and prayers. But it turns out that, look, it is now the traditional rulers that are now running after the politician, which is wrong in the first place.
No, because you know the constitution has no provision for traditional rulers, at least not anymore.
This brings us to what modern democracy and what and traditional institution in Africa.
Okay.
How do we institutionalize our traditional rulers in our own constitution to make them strong and viable? That look, they can make a case for their people. This is why we are having the security challenges today. Because let me tell you, before the 19th century, the traditional rulers owns and hold what the security of the local people. They are held responsible for whatever security challenges we have.
Yeah, that's because those are the people that are closer to the grassroots. But then if you water down whatever their function is, or the sitting governor or president has a say over whoever comes to that certain seat, how do you expect them to talk to people without people saying, oh, there's sentiments of the fact that you are talking based on the fact that this certain persons put you there? This
is why I'm telling you, if we have a streamlined direct line of transition from one traditional institution to the next one, we should know that, look, as you are living, this is the next person. So government being there or no government there, this guy, traditional institution, will make a case for themselves. But where the traditional institution doesn't have a particular clear cut of how an enthronement should be done within a particular region or a nation or a tribe, that becomes a crisis whereby the political gladiators have to come in with their own interests and fix and put their own people. This is what we are trying to fight against. And I'm assuring you that, look, the task now before Yahya Adoda Bello, His Excellency, is how to see he can resolve this crisis at least within the last 24 hours. The people that have applied for that throne were about 71 candidates. It has been thrown to 5. And the 5, you see them, they are really qualified, every one of them. But I think we should still look at that 5 and scrutinize and bring it to 2. And let's choose the best out of that can actually represent the people of the Kogi Central. So this is my take. And I am telling you, it's really giving His Excellency Adoda Bello a sleepless night. Because history, he has to write his name down with history. You understand now? Either in the golden book of history or within the time framework of his own time as a leader of his time. But I believe he will choose to go and write his name in the golden book of history, because what the deed that Ben did live after them, as Julius Caesar said in Shakespeare. That is it.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Abdullahi. Thank you so much. It's been an insightful one with you today. We do hope we'd have you probably before the inauguration, of course, to see what is going on in Kogi State one more time.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Okay, all right, our viewers at home, it's Boxing Day. We cannot forget that. Remember to gift someone something. And I've had lots of back and forth about Boxing Day. Some feel like Boxing Day is the day where you get to box people. Trust me, no, it transcends that. Just like Christmas is the day to share love and, of course, gift people. Boxing Day, of course, is referred to a day where you gift your loved ones and, of course, you help the people that are actually in need. And this is where we wrap it up for today's Polity. You've read Dr. Abdullahi Suleiman, of course, and he's done good justice to that particular topic. And this is where we wrap it up for today's Polity. I remain Mercy Babajide. See you same time, same station tomorrow. Bye.